Hi everyone, welcome to The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask with glitches. This is a playthrough that I've been wanting to do for a long time. First thing I'm going to do is just delete this file. I think it's a brand new file, but I can't actually remember. Probably did it when I was testing. But yeah, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's going to be quite similar to my Ocarina of Time one, but probably quite a bit longer, just making sure this is on Switch. I always prefer it to be on Switch. But yeah, this game is pretty broken. There's a lot of cool stuff that I can show off in it, but it's going to differ from my Ocarina of Time one in a number of ways. The first of which is, this is going to be a 100% playthrough, which means that pretty much anything that I can show off in the way of glitches will probably be in this playthrough at some point, because it's going to be quite long. It's going to get absolutely everything in the game. And my Ocarina of Time one, of course, was just getting all the dungeons and stuff. And the second big change is that on this one, I'm going to be doing it on emulator. And I don't normally like to do that, but the reason I've chosen to do it is because it has this really cool function, which you're about to see in a second, which is this. Look how fast this cutscene is going. There's like a frame limiter option on this, so I've turned it off. And that means that the cutscene's playing at like, I don't know, a lot. To put it into perspective, it's running now at like 450 FPS. The game typically runs at 60 FPS. Most of the cutscenes in the game, or maybe not most, but a lot of them are going to be able to skip through glitches, but there's going to be some, like this one, that I'm not going to be able to skip. So I've decided to compromise with the people who like cutscenes in these playthroughs, and just play on emulator so that I can fast forward them like that. Obviously I'm not going to be doing that at all during the general gameplay, and even just like little text boxes and stuff, I'll just like sit through them normally. I'm not going to fast forward those. But yeah, we're already on to the part where we control Link. If I hadn't done that, that would be like, I don't know, a couple of minutes wasted, just over nothing. So, you know, there's no timer here. People that have played this game before know that the game is largely time-based. You know, you're on like a 3-day timer or whatever. It doesn't start until you actually get into the main part of the game. So what I'm going to do here is, for no real reason at all, just to make things a little easier later on, I'm going to farm some rupees here. I didn't actually know until earlier today that these plants respawn when you go through that tunnel and come back out, but they do. So I guess you do learn something new every day. And this is going to give me time to explain sort of like what the game is going to be like. Obviously this game is very similar to Ocarina of Time in a lot of ways, but it's also very different in terms of some of the mechanics. A lot of the glitches that were present in Ocarina of Time have been removed, but that's brought on some new things as well. And some of them are still there. Things like ISG. Let me see if I can grab that right now. No, I was too slow there. I should be able to get it off of one of these plants, but I think I'll just lose it right away anyway. Yeah, I got it. So, like, I've got ISG already. You can see I can just run around and kill all the plants like this. I just did that by interrupting, like, a crouch stab by picking something up, in this case a plant. And the main use of that in Ocarina of Time, as we know, was to hover. That is still in this game, but it's substantially easier in Majora's Mask than it was in Ocarina of Time. But I'll cover more of that later on. For the moment, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I mentioned already that this is going to be a 100% playthrough. This means that, yeah, as I said, it's going to be quite long. I don't know why that didn't work there. And to put it into perspective, like an any percent, as in fastest completion speedrun in this game, is something like, it's under 1.5 hours, or it's like around that mark. I don't actually remember the time right now. And 100% is something like 5 to 5.5 hours. And there's a lot of stuff that you would see in a 100% run that you wouldn't see in the any percent, which is the main reason I've chosen to do this. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of glitches in the game that you wouldn't even see in a 100% run either. And I'm going to be showing those off as well. Just sort of things that are cool but useless. So, this is getting kind of boring. I do want to get it to 99 rupees just for the hell of it. It will just save me a little bit of time later on. Give me more time to do things when I actually get into Clock Town later on. I guess I'll just do one more cycle. That'll probably be all I need. Okay, so, you know, I did this in practice earlier and I got a lot of blue rupees. I'm not really getting too many from it right now, but I guess I'll get the rupees in here if they've respawned, and then that'll do me. I won't bother with anything else. It's not like I'm really wasting too much time, because although there's a lot of cutscenes coming up, I'm going to be skipping all of them, or at least fast forwarding all of them, which is just as good. Alright, so I'm going to have to lose ISG, because if I have it, obviously I can't run off ledges. One other change that they made to this game is that he does like these flips and stuff when he comes off the ledges, which is kind of cool. Just makes it look more stylistic. So gonna turn off the frame limiter, sorry, and just get through this cutscene. So this is the cutscene where he turns you into Deku Link, and I'm gonna be stuck as him for a while. For the entire first cycle, actually. That's the whole point of it, is that you're trying to get yourself back to normal. And I wonder if anyone can actually read the text. I'm sure if you like pause the video after every text box, you'll be able to read it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'll just continue from normal here. I can get some more rupees over here. I don't need to have 99. It's just I want it to be full because it's just going to make things a little less repetitive a little bit later on. But I'll just get on with it now. So yeah, this whole area here. A lot of people probably know this by now, but there is a way to get back to this place after you've been to Clocktown and stuff. You need to do a certain glitch to get back over the door that you go through, and I will be covering that later on. It's certainly something that's not useful, in the sense that it doesn't help you complete the game faster or give you some sort of advantage. It's just nice to see that you actually can get back. But I don't think you can get back to this particular room. I think the furthest I've been able to get back to is beyond this door over here. Because when you go through this, some iron bars come down, and you can't get back. And I've tried like hovering all the way up to there, and there is a ceiling, and there probably is some way to get through. I just haven't really bothered to look about for it. Over there in the chest, in the far left over there, are some Deku nuts. Not going to bother with that. There's a faster way to get them when I actually get into the main part of the game. So if I walk any closer to this flower, it's going to talk to me. I mean, no, it's not going to talk to me. Tattle's going to talk to me. But if I side hop into it and hold A the whole time... Oh, I missed it. Well, obviously I wasn't close enough to the flower, but if you're close enough, then he'll start to burrow into it before she talks to you, and that's just a little time saver. It's completely pointless in real-time speedruns, obviously, because it's like a second saved or whatever. Not worth the risk for setting up. So yeah, this thing is actually where the Deku Mask came from. It's never like explicitly stated, but it is hinted towards, especially at the end of the game. It's just a little bit of trivia there. So this is like that room in the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time where it spins around, kind of hinting to the fact that this new area is like an inverted version of Hyrule, which is definitely true, because a lot of the characters look the same. I can see why they did this. It meant you didn't have to come up with new character models and stuff. So yeah. If I walk about halfway up these stairs, there's going to be a cutscene with the Happy Mask Salesman. I'm going to be able to skip that entire cutscene if I play my cards right here. I'm going to pause buffer my way up the stairs. Every time you pause and unpause and then pause again like the next frame later, I was way more than one frame. Just like, I want to show it when he actually moves. I swear to God, this is like harder to do on emulator. Yeah, like that or whatever. If I do that successfully all the way to the top of the stairs, I can get through the door without the cutscene actually starting. It's quite difficult to do, but I'm going to try it. I'm not too worried if I fail it, because obviously I'll just be fast forwarding it anyway. Makes me really nervous though, because like I said, pause buffering is definitely more difficult on the emulator. I feel like there's a tiny little bit more lag when you unpause than there is on N64. Another reason that it's good to play on emulator is that it looks a lot better. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. This is a lot nicer looking than it would be on the N64. And I suppose you could say, well, why don't you just play on Virtual Console? The Virtual Console version, I do have it, but it's not as nice looking as this. Some of the graphics are kind of gimped, like the fire animations and stuff are all the wrong colours and stuff, and they just look really cheap. Come on, man. What is going on here? Just move. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's just like a certain timing to this. Obviously, at this point, it would have been faster for me to just sit through the cutscene. Well, maybe not normally, but like if I was going to fast forward it, which obviously I would, then it would have been faster to do that. But I want to show this off just to prove that it is. Nope, well, I screwed it up anyway, so we'll be fast forwarding this. But you could see how far up those stairs I managed to get before the trigger actually kicked in. Normally, it happens like halfway up the stairs or whatever, so it's not even a long cutscene. I just wanted to skip it for the hell of it. So another little cutscene skip that you can do here. Really simple to do this one. After the camera pans out and starts changing around, at this point here, just reset the game, and that'll skip all that cutscene. And the game actually saves when you enter Clock Town for the first time, so I don't have to worry about being put back to the very, very beginning. As you can see, it saved my rupees and everything, so it's also got a mask counter now and a heart piece counter. So done on the first day. The very first thing I want to do is make it the night of the final day, because there really just isn't too much to do on the first or second day. I want to get out of the first cycle right away. That's like the main goal here. So the first thing I'm going to do is make it the night of the final day. Normally what you're supposed to do on the first cycle is you're supposed to go and find the stray fairy, take her to the Great Fairy in North Clock Town, learn how to like shoot bubbles from your mouth with the magic meter, and then you play a game with the bombers, the little kids around town, and then they give you a secret code. You get into the observatory, you look up at the moon, it drops a tear, you trade it for a title deed, and that lets you get into a Deku Flower in South Clock Town, which lets you access the top part of the clock tower on the night of the final day. Every single step of that, except for the Great Fairy part, can be skipped with one simple move, which I'm going to show off when I get to that. But until then, I'm going to talk to the grandma here, because if you talk to her and listen to her second story, it takes you straight to the dawn of the second day, and it conveniently skips a little cutscene that plays when you normally go at the dawn of the second day. So I'm going to talk to her again. This will take me to the dawn of the final day. Now, I could talk to her again and just listen to her shorter story all the way to the night of the final day, but that would take forever. I'm not going to bother with that. So instead, I'll just get out of here, if I could, and I'm going to go and find another way to do that. But before I do it, I think I'm going to pop into Termina Field. Yeah, I call it Termina, that's definitely its name. It's not Termina, even though it's supposed to be based off a terminal. Termina sounds better. So there's no music out here, there's also no actors. As you saw, I just managed to pop through the guard. I can't believe I just did that without actually explaining it. In fact, I'm going to go back in and explain what I did there. It's just second nature to me, because this is like such an old sort of trick. This guard doesn't move all the way over to the right here, or to the left, my left, but he does on this side. This is the only guard you can do this with. The Deku walks backwards so quickly that, let me just pan the camera around like this. Come on. Why is this not working? There we go. So I'm going to just backwalk straight through him, and you'll see that he'll just pop right through. He sort of struggles a little bit, but then he gets through. So yeah, as I was saying, there's no actors or enemies or anything like this. This means that if I wanted to, and I guess I will. I mean, I've got time for this, so yeah, I'm going to do it. Just to show off. Because it is kind of a cool little thing. You can actually access Snowhead as a Deku on day one. Totally pointless, completely pointless. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I hate the camera trick in this game. I'm just like pressing Z or Z, then letting go, then a few frames later pressing down, then pressing Z again. But it's much trickier to do in Majora's Mask than it was in Ocarina of Time. The delay between the button presses is much bigger in this game than it was in the original N64 Zelda. So there is going to be a certain point where I'm not really going to be able to get any further, at least not easily, but I just want to show that this actually is doable. Kinda glad that I'm not turning it to the night of the final day right away, because it gives me a chance to actually show this off and know that I've got enough time. Yeah, let me just talk to her so she shuts up. Come on, stop talking. Right, so if I look up, you know, the icicle's not there. It's usually hanging from up there or whatever, and the ones that are usually blocking your road are gone as well. So I can just pop up here. I mean, there's absolutely nothing here. But it does start the Termina Field music, which is nice. So, let me think. Is there anything I can pick up here? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to give me any bombs or anything like that, because I don't have the bomb bag yet. So, you know, normally the furthest that you can get as a Deku up here is these. But there is actually a way to get around this. I'm not going to be able to do it, because it's like so random, but if you like run up this, or not run up it, I think you're supposed to like backwalk up it, and then like, I don't know, backflip or something. It's really, really precise and difficult. But yeah, it is possible to do. I think you just backwalk up it and eventually you'll like have enough speed that it'll just sort of get over it, but I'll try it a couple more times just for the hell of it. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with it. Nah, forget it. It's not worth it. You can take my word for it that it is possible. I've seen it done before, but it's certainly not worth it. It doesn't give me any advantage whatsoever, so I just wanted to show off that you could actually get here. Okay, so just quickly head back to Clock Town. Jeez, at this rate it's going to be the night of the final day before I even get to turn it to that. But this is kind of cool because it's giving me a chance to actually get my rupees up to 99. So, how do you... yeah, it's over here. And this thing on the wall, sometimes it has like songs from Ocarina of Time. That's the Serenade of Water. The one that took you to Lake Hylia in the original game. I think if you play the Ocarina in front of that, it just gives you some rupees or something like that. It's not really that useful. Cool, so I can go and deposit these in the bank. The reason that I'm getting so many rupees on this first cycle is because I just think that I want to get the bigger wallet, the adult's wallet, on the first cycle, just so I don't have to worry about it later on. So you'll notice that because I entered through that door and not through that one, or the one down there, that it skipped the cutscene for like the first time you enter West Clocktown. Eventually I will see that cutscene, so it isn't really going to help me, but whatever. It's just kind of cool that you can do that. So I'll just put these in. Okay, so if he would ever stop talking, then I can go and turn it to the night of the final day. I've only got like 2 hours left away, but I want to show what you would do if you weren't wasting time like I was. So you come in here, don't need to get this, I just want to get it. Talk to the Scarecrow, and he'll offer to dance till night time. So if you come in here at the start of the final day, it would still last until night time. Doesn't matter what time you come in at. There's quite a lot of blur here. That's another thing that you'll notice in this game that wasn't in Ocarina of Time. There's a lot of blur. Motion blur in a lot of the cutscenes and stuff like that. I just guess they just added it for like dramatic effect or something, but I just personally find it quite annoying. Alright, so he's going to offer to teach me like the inverted Song of Time or whatever. Just going to say no, because I already know what it is and I don't want to waste any more time here. So I'll just pop back out. Now I'm going to go and do the little Great Fairy quest to get the magic meter, because I'm going to need that for pretty much everything. I mean, using the glitch that I'm eventually going to show you, you could get into the clock tower without the magic meter, but you'd be useless against Skull Kid up there because you can't defeat him unless you have it. So, Fairy's right there. I will go and pick that up. And then I'll head into North Clocktown. But I'm going to be weird about it and go through the field again, just so I can skip the North Clocktown cutscene. I think I probably, like with West Clocktown, will see it eventually, but whatever. Just backwalk to save time. He really is really fast when he backwalks. I think he's actually the fastest backwalker in the game. I think maybe the Fear State Link, the very final mask that you get, might be faster. I mean, I know he is, but like, he doesn't really count because you don't get him till the end of the game. But, alright, so let's just get the magic nice and quick. I could go into this little enclosure over here and do the Deku Playground, but I'm going to leave that for later on, because you need to do it once on each day to actually get the reward, so no big deal. In the 3DS version of this game, you can actually skip that little text trigger if you backflip at the right moment. I don't think that's possible in this. I'm sure I remember testing it back when I used to do tool-assisted speedruns of this game. So yeah, I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be skipping a lot of the cutscenes by fast-forwarding them. Things like this, which aren't too long, I'm just going to leave as they are. There's really no need. And her text is fast anyway. It's one of the great text boxes that lets you just skip through it with one button press. My favourite kind. So, unlike in Ocarina of Time, well, I guess this isn't really unlike Ocarina of Time, but there's like a bunch of different fairies, and they all look different in this game. They've got different hair, and they all give you like a different power-up. In Ocarina of Time, it just looked the same every time, and it gave you like different power-ups, but it was like all you had to do was find them. In this game, you have to like collect stuff, which can be kind of difficult. Collect stray fairies inside the dungeons to unlock these extra powers, but obviously it's 100%, so I will be doing all of that. But yeah, just gonna head back out. I've got the shoot thing on my B button now, which means that I can shoot things down. You know, that would be how you would start the bomber quest. You would burst this balloon with Majora's Mask on it, and yeah, that would start the quest with him. So let's see, can I get up here? I'm pressing A to make him, well, okay, it didn't work, but if you press A when you're next to a ledge, he grabs it quicker than he normally would. So it is possible to get this heart piece. It's kind of difficult as a Deku, but like what you want to do, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it. If you stand here and then side flip and let go of Z, you know, if you do it just right, you'll manage to grab onto that, but I don't really care too much. I'm not going to bother. I can get it later on. There's another heart piece that I'm going to be getting here anyway, so it's cool. Gonna head back to West Clocktown for now. No, actually, I'm gonna see the introduction cutscene to this place, even though I've already been here before, which is always kind of nice to have beaten the game a little bit like that. Alright, so, you know, I think I am eventually going to have to do the Bomber side quest, or at least I'm going to have to know their code so that I can get the Bomber's notebook, but I'm going to be doing that after the first cycle is over, so I'll probably just like off-screen the initial quest so that I can write down their code and then just put it in, because I don't know, maybe I'll show it off, because there's probably stuff I can do around Clocktown anyway. But for the moment I want to head back to East Clocktown because there is another 99 rupees that I can get in there. Oops, getting stuck on that. I want to be a little bit fast here just because I want to show something else off. I don't think you can enter this at night, by the way, so I'm going to have to go through the upper entrance again. I'm pretty sure you can't enter it after a certain time, just like you can't enter it before a certain time as well. Oh man, you know what? No, I'm not doing this. Like, I'll come back and get this chest later, but I want to show this off, right? Normally when the clock strikes 12 on the night of the final day, there's a cutscene that plays. No matter where you are in Clocktown, it's the exact same cutscene on the first cycle. But if you're outside of Clocktown, using this little glitch to get past the guard there, then a different version of the cutscene plays. And that's what I want to show off, so I want to make sure that I'm out in Termina Field when the clock strikes 12. So yeah, I'm just going to run around for a bit until it gets to 12, and you'll see that it's the same kind of cutscene, it's just from different angles and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people don't know that this exists, starting for the moon, just kind of creepy. It's really weird that they actually have this cutscene still in the game, because, you know, you're not supposed to ever be in the field on the first cycle. So yeah, I like this one a lot more. You get a much better view of like the clock tower and just how close the moon is to, like, you know, killing everybody and stuff. Looks much nicer. And that bit there is obviously the bit that we'll be standing on, which I don't think you normally see during this cutscene. And you can see me up there at the top of that little hill. I wonder if it changes based on which part of the field you're on. I don't think it does. But wait, did it show me? It did show me there. It definitely did. But I'm at like the east part of the field. I don't know why. That was the west part it was showing. Very weird. Maybe I just imagined it. Well, anyway, now I'm actually going to go back and get that chest. If I could ever get in the flower, that is. The music that plays now is probably the best music in the whole game. It's like so tense and stuff. I mean, there's no reason for me to feel tense because I've skipped the entire cycle, but you know what I mean. This is a room that we'll be coming back to later on. It's like the end of probably the worst quest in the game. At least the worst quest if you ask like the casual gamer. I used to think it was, but you know, there are ways to manage it which make it a lot easier, but I'll cover that in a later part. Okay, so I'm going to head down to West Clocktown, put my rupees in, and then I'm going to head up to the clock tower. I mentioned earlier that I've got a way to skip the whole, you know, the Deku Flower thing, the business scrub that's in there. You have to give him the title deed, and then... Oh no, sorry, you get the title deed from him. You give him the Moon's Tier, which you get from getting to the Observatory, which you can access from playing the game with the Bombers, and I skipped all of that. But like I mentioned earlier, there is a way to get up there anyway. It's really, really easy. It's kind of funny actually that they didn't catch this when they were making the game, because it's something that wasn't possible in Ocarina of Time, but it is possible in this. And basically it comes out of the fact that in this game, when you do a side hop or a backflip, you can grab a ledge during that movement, during a backflip or a side hop. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come up here, I'm going to touch this, I'm going to do a backflip, and as soon as he comes off the ground I'm going to press Z again. So I'm going to like press A, let go of Z and press it again. And if I do it just right, he'll stick against the wall. That's called a gainer, and he'll just like come straight up here. Now there is an older way to get up here which I'm going to quickly show off. If you like sort of face this angle, backflip, let go of Z, and do this just right. It's a little trickier. But I want it to work. Try it once more. Right, whatever, it's not going to work, but you know, if you do that just right, he'll grab the ledge as well. That was what we used to do before we discovered that you could do a gainer. Oh, come on, man. It's not working. Why isn't he backflipping? There we go. I was getting very, very slightly nervous there, even though there's like 2 minutes left. I mean, I don't think it's like actually 2 minutes, it's like maybe half of that or whatever, I don't know. I think when you play the inverted Song of Time to slow down time, and then it actually runs at like a minute per hour. Or maybe I've got that the wrong way around actually, I don't know. But yeah, this is a cutscene, so I'm going to fast forward it because nobody cares, blah blah blah, he's just going to summon the moon or whatever. And he's going to be really, really loud as well. Okay, so now we're fighting him. Just target him. Shoot a bubble. He drops the ocarina. And I've landed pretty close to it. I wanted to land right on it, but I was slightly off it seems. Just a few steps. Alright, so this is what's going to let me get back to the start of the first day. And fortunately I did put all my money in the bank. I've already got the adult's wallet, which can hold 200 rupees instead of the 99. This cutscene's a little bit messed up on emulator. You can see there's kind of like just below and above the black borders there's a little bit of blur for most of it, but then at the edges it's like perfectly clear. I don't know, it's weird. I guess the cutscene itself looks pretty normal though. This one's always really blurry, even on N64. I don't know why I haven't skipped it. After I played the song, I'm going to skip the rest of it, because it's already annoying me how long it is. So it's kind of weird. The Song of Time in this game is completely different from what it was in the original. In the original, all it did was move blocks and open the door of time, but in this one, it actually lets you get back to the dawn of the first day. And look at this. Played it before it went to his mouth, or at least I started playing it before it went to his mouth. It's another thing that's kind of weird that they overlooked, actually. But yeah, that's the song. So let's just fast forward the rest of this. Okay, and a little bit of this too. Okay, so I'm going to pause, bring out the ocarina, and we'll find that it's actually a different instrument for the Deku. No big deal, just play the Song of Time. So I'm actually going to reset the game again as soon as I save, because once you save you don't have to sit through any of these cutscenes anymore. As soon as you press yes here, it's saved, right? So I'll just wait for the text box to disappear just to be safe, and I'm just going to reset. I know for a fact it's saved, so I've got nothing to worry about. And the only reason that I'm doing that there is because the very first time you play the Song of Time, there's a bit of a lengthy cutscene. You know, where it shows like Link on the horse getting kicked off by Skullkid or whatever, and then it shows like Tattle saying, "Oh, you've went back to the start of the first day" or whatever. So managed to skip that just by resetting. Okay, so I'm going to do this. He's going to teach me the next song. I'm going to play the song again, then I'll fast forward the rest of the cutscene because I don't want to wait for it. Fun fact, this is actually the reverse of Seria's song from the original game. It's the exact same but backwards. I'm sure everybody already knew that though. It's like one of the oldest facts about this game. Oh yeah, and just in case anyone's wondering, although I'm playing this on emulator, I'm still playing it with a Nintendo 64 controller, you know, because in my opinion it's the only way you can really enjoy Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. They're designed for that controller and they're much more comfortable with that than anything else. Alright, so fast forwarding. So there's the Deku mask. I'm going to stop fast forwarding when he picks it up. The first of 24 masks that I'll be getting. Obviously I will be getting all of them because it is a 100% run. And the first transformation mask. This means that I can turn into the Deku whenever I feel like it, which is probably going to be quite a bit. Or is it actually? I don't know. Probably not actually, because he's quite slow. You know, once you get the Goron mask, there's really no need for any of the other ones because the Goron's like so fast. Look at this guy. Look at his bloody face, man. It's terrifying. Alright, well, this cutscene that's coming up, there's a little interesting tidbit I can tell you about it. In the original Japanese version, the whole cutscene doesn't have a single text box in it. You can just put the controller down and the whole cutscene will play from start to finish, no problem. It's the same in the European/Australian version, but in the North American release, there's like this lone text box just in the middle of it. And it's just so weird that they like overlooked it. It's this box here, I think. Look, I could just leave it here for ages, but obviously I'm not going to do that because I'm very impatient. But it's just kind of strange that they like added that. I guess they wanted you to pay attention to it, but I mean they then removed it in the European one, which makes you think it actually is just a mistake. It's kind of silly. So, you know, we're almost at the end of this cutscene. It's an interesting bit of exposition, I suppose, about the main villain of the game, which really is the mask. and Skull Kid, so yep. I don't really mind leaving this one in, because it's done now anyway, and I managed to talk the whole way through it. Plus it means we get to watch this idiot. Look at all his different poses and stuff, he's so weird. He's like such a big character in this game, he was so useless in the original. God, his face changes in like a frame. But whatever. Alright, so I'm now normal Link. Let me just get the Deku mask out. Not going to put it on. Well, actually, yes, I am going to put it on, just so I can skip this cutscene from now on. The very first time you put on a transformation mask, it always shows this little cutscene. But from then on, you can just, like, press the button again, it will skip. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to play the Song of Time again, just to save the game while I'm normal Link, so I don't have to sit through any of that again. But this is pretty much going to be the end of this first segment. Obviously there weren't a lot of glitches in this because we had to get through the first cycle, but I can guarantee that as soon as the next one there's going to be some pretty cool stuff. But for the meantime, let's just save the game. This is the main way to save the game in Majora's Mask, just to play the Song of Time. This means that when I open my file the next time, it's going to be at the dawn of the first day, which is exactly what I want. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.